Hello everyone, welcome to the Gregorian University. I am Archana. I am going to teach on the subject name is in .NET Technology Infosys as a BCA 5th semester, and in this section today we discuss the Unit 1 Introduction to the .NET Framework. So we discuss the some key points, Microsoft C Sharp introductions, features of the C Sharp, framework base class library, common language runtime, and the what is the common language specifications and what is the components of the CLR, and how to convert the MSIL and the GIT compilation and the architectures of the CLR. Okay, so now firstly was just discussed about the Microsoft C Sharp and what is the features of the C Sharp. So what is the Microsoft C Sharp? So basically the C Sharp is the modern and the C Sharp is the multiple languages is supported. Okay, so C Sharp is a pure object oriented languages because that is the platform independent languages. So that is a build of that the you have to ground up to explore the example based services on that the .NET platforms. Okay, so the main design of the goal of the C Sharp is this like a simplicity, and in the rather now you have to pure power. Now, what is the features of the C sharp? The C sharp is the C sharp is the features, and the characteristic is the simplicity, consistency, and the modernity, and the object orientations, time safety, which version control you are using, and the compatibility and the flexibility. Okay, so now we discuss the one by one discuss the features of the C sharp. Okay, so first one is the modern features of the C sharp. So basically the C sharp as the base of the you have to according to the current trend, and this is very powerful and which is a simply you have to build up to the scalability and the robust applications you have to use that. The C sharp is the best languages for developing you have to web applications and the components of the for the Microsoft .NET platforms you are using. Okay, the next features of the C sharp is the object oriented. So the C sharp is the pure object oriented languages. So because that is a platform independent languages, and is all features they supported like encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, abstractions. So next is simple and the flexible. So C sharp is a simple to you. You just use the Visual Basic, and in everything in the C sharp you have to represent as the objects. All the data types and the components in C sharps are the objects, and the pointers are the missing in the C sharp. So we are using that the delegates in the C sharps. Okay, and the C sharps they are you have no usage of the scope resolutions operators. So the next features of the C sharp is the time safety languages. So C sharp is the time safety languages. All the variables and the classes, including the primitive data types in the C sharps, are the types, and you have to including them the drive data types from which objects you are using that. Okay, next is scalability features of the C sharp. So basically, .NETs you have introduced the assemblies, which basically just you have which one was that self-describing. That means you have a main phase. Main phase. What is that? My main phase is like a establish the assembly identity and which versions you are using and which cultures you are using. Okay, so basically assemblies don't need the by register anywhere. Okay, so you have to scale our applications just like you have we delete the old files and updating them and with the new one also. So next features of the C sharp is language and the cross platform interoperability. That is C sharps with all the languages Microsoft .NET supported languages, and you have to share the common .NET runtime libraries. So basically, the language compilers generate the intermediate codes, and you just .NET is supported with the help of the CLR. You have to read that. Okay, so now the next topic is the class library. What is the class library? What is that means class library is also term has the base class library or the framework base class library also. The base class libraries include have here just including in the small subset of the entire class library. That means the core set of the classes and which serve of you have using of the API of the common language is runtime. Okay, so classes basically which classes are using in the .dl extensions you are using that, and some of the classes is just like in the system.dll and also system.core.dll extensions. So basically is the consider has the which part of the there's a base class library is the part. Okay, so base class library is also available in the .NET framework also and alternative implementations also. Basically used including the .NET Compact framework and which frameworks you are using, compact frameworks which are using that. So Mono, Microsoft, Silverlights you are using that. Okay, so this is the architectures of the this is the diagram. .NET framework base class library. System.web, that means is the web, you just using the web based applications, just including these services UI, which security session cache you are using that. And the next is system.window forms you are using that. But that means system.window forms you just window based application you are creating. Okay, that means the design part and the component parts and which system.drawing part you are using that. Text imaging image part and the printing part also. System.data, that means is the which database to connected. Okay, SQL client, that means the SQL server. OLDB connections you are using common and the SQL types also user using. System.xml you are using that, including the XRT part, XPath and the serialization systems are using. System, that means including the systems, the collections, configurations, input output, the resources and the securities. This is a is all scenario of the .NET framework base class library diagram. Okay, so the next topic is the common language runtime. So basically, what is the common language runtime? Basically, common language runtime is the CLR and is the execution environment. So basically, the main role is the common language runtime. You have to convert the managed code into the native code, and you have to execute the program. Basically just like as a work as a layer by layer between the operating system and the applications, which applications you have written in the .NET languages, and you have to confirm that the common language specifications you are using that. And the common language runtime is you are using the just in time compilations to convert the intermediate languages to intermediate language converts to the native code on the demand of the applications you have using the runtime, which applications you are using the runtime. Okay, so this is the architectures of the common language runtime. So C sharp is supporting the multiple languages VB, C sharp and the J sharp. Okay, so when you write the source code in the VB program, okay, so just you have to compile and then you have to convert the assembly languages, and you just convert the assembly languages, and after the assembly code to convert like into the native code with the help of the JIT compiler. So this is the managed code compilation process. Or like what is the compilations? You just source code. See the source code and the like compilation process when you write the program in any languages, and after the language compiler is converting to the intermediate language specifications code. Okay, so an intermediate language specification code is just convert to the native code with the help of the GIT compilation. Okay, this is the execution environment. Okay, so MSI and the GIT compilation. What is this? Basically, the source code you just compile into the Microsoft Intermediate Language Code. Basically, it's just like the similar to the Java languages. Just you have to convert the bytecode. So the Microsoft Intermediate Languages is allow the runtime, the time safety runtime. Okay, and the security be provided, as well as you have the portable execution platforms all using that. And the basically the MSI architectures is you have a result in that the which app you are using, the one address spaces which you are using that, and the metadata is also involved that in the intermediate language specification code. So the intermediate language specification code you have to convert to the native code with the help of the GIT compilation process, and this is called as the managed code environment process. Okay, so again this is the CLR. uh, like you just which language C sharp is supporting the multiple languages, and just after the compilations you have to convert the CLL code as the common intermediate language specification code, and is also including the metadata. What is the metadata? Just like the data about the data informations. And after the compilations load and the verify that, and you have with the help of the GIT compiler, and you are just convert to the native code. Like native code is basically the result output is showing as in the 0 and 1, like a byte code in the Java languages program. Basically this is the machine code in the machine languages program. Okay, so the next what is the components of the CLR? So basically the CLR components is the first one is the class loader. Just you have to load the classes into the runtime. Okay, next is msil to the native code compiler. What does that mean? That means just convert the msil Microsoft intermediate language code, just convert to the native code. Okay, into the native code, that means is the machine code. And the next scenario components is the code manager. Code manager, that means you have to manage the code during the execution of the program. Okay, just you have to check the code check and the resources which are using during the execution part. And next part is the garbage collector. What is the role of the garbage collector? Just you have to provide the automatic memory management process and avoid the memory leaks also. Okay, next scenario is the next components of the security engine. Basically the security engines, basically you have to enforce the security restrictions are provided, and the CS is also provided. Time checker is also components of the CLR. Just you have to check the strict type which type checking also. Okay, next the thread supporting. You have to providing the multiple threading supporting applications you are using. And exception manager, that means you have to provide the mechanisms to handle the runtime exceptions also. Debug engines, that means you just debug the different types of the applications you are using. And the base class library, that means the base class library, that means you have to provide the which types of the applications you are using at the runtime. Okay, so this is a CLR common language runtime architectures. The CLR architectures is just providing the base class library supporting the thread support and the CO marshals, the class loader, the time checkers. You are just using that. Exception managers also using the security engine and the debug engines. And just you have to when you source code to compile. After compilation, you have just convert to the intermediate language specifications code, and just this is the MSIL code, and just to convert the native code. This is the code manager's responsibility when you code the manage during the runtime execution of the programs. And the garbage collector is also just using that. And the class loader, when you load the classes into the runtime also. So this is the references links. Now thank you.